cover all the top stories that are meant to divide, separate, spread gloom and despair, and instill fear in you to make you submissive and easier to control. With news from around the world, delivered straight to your face. We tell you all the bullshit with scripts passed down from the elites and read from our mouths. With Dick Rammer, Jennifer Phibb, and Lester Gafer is sports. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dick Rammer.
And I'm Jennifer Phibb.
We begin tonight with more distraction pertaining to Agent Orange. According to a recent Mother Jones article, Agent Orange ordered the assassination in Iran on Qasem Soleimani because of impeachment fears. And within that article, according to the New York Times, which leans left, meaning they're biased, Agent Orange said in a phone call, quote, he had been pressured to take a harder line on Iran by some Republican senators whose support he needs now more than ever amid an impeachment battle. Now, the next line in that Mother Jones article read, quote, if this reporting is true, end quote, meaning one supposed reputable news source, New York Times, published something as fact, not really knowing if it was or not, and that was reported by a second supposed reputable news source, Mother Jones, as though it was fact, not really knowing if it was or not, and we, of course, riding coattails and spewing the same bile, reported to you the exact same thing. Or, as the Chinese would say it, same thing. And no, that was not racist. My best friend is Chinese. Jennifer?
In related news, The Intercept, famous for the infamous Edward Snowden reports on the U.S. mass surveillance state, revealed their take on it, also known as The Truth. In a report published by their senior politics editor, titled Spinning Iran, and, as Li Fang wrote, many of those who praised Trump's decision-making had skin in the game. Quote, many of the pundits have undisclosed ties to the defense industry, the only domestic industry that stands to gain from increased violence, end quote. Those pundits included former General David Petraeus, who now works for an investment firm with holdings in defense contractors, and Jeh Johnson. Yes, Jeh Johnson, J-E-H. What the hell? Anyway, Jeh Johnson, former Obama Homeland Security Secretary, now on the board of Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin is by far the largest defense contractor in the world. In 2017, the Bethesda, Maryland company made $44.9 billion in arms and defense contracts, nearly twice the amount of arms sales as Boeing, the second largest defense contractor. Lockheed Martin receives 88% of their revenue from defense contracts. The folks at The Intercept were nice enough to make us a short 2-minute video not only proving their reporting is fact, but also demonstrating that the same people who start and instigate wars are the same people who profit from it. We've included a link in the description for your viewing pleasure.
Breaking news.
And this just in, a postscript from the elites. It reads, quote, ha ha, ha ha, you are sucker bitches, so suck our old white bocce balls. End quote. Turning to more distraction from the puppet show, in an interview with the New York Times, there's those guys again, for the newspaper's 2020 Democratic presidential candidate endorsement, in other words, where they decide who to endorse, then they will do or say anything in their papers to help them get elected, Senator Bernie Sanders spoke about how President Agent Orange has weaponized racism to appeal to many Americans who sense that the political and media establishments have abandoned them. Quote, how did Trump become president? Sanders said. I think it speaks to something that I talk about a lot, and that is the fact that tens and tens of millions of Americans feel that the political establishment, Republican and Democrat, have failed them. Maybe the New York Times has failed them too. While Sanders' football punt to their balls was sweet, and his words rang true because they were, what he didn't mention was that the Republican and Democrat parties, as well as the media, are owned by the same entities. The central bankers and large multinational corporations that own everything, including me and you. This is why Republican, Democrat, Independent, politics in general, and most media outlets are simply a distraction. The real problem is the money system that we live by that allows all these entities, who supposedly worked for us but never actually have, to be owned, keyword, and controlled. Now we don't want to overload you with truth here, and to make us feel local to you, we'll turn to a quirky local story. Jennifer?
Thanks, Dick. News 4 on 20 recently learned about a man in our local area who eats his dog's poo because he says it improves his memory and helps him sleep better. So to find out more, we sent Harry Hopper to investigate.
Pulling up at our subject's home, you wouldn't think anything unusual from the outside, but upon entering, we noticed something was different right away. As soon as we entered the residence, a strong odor of shit wafted into our nostrils. I applied the clothespin to my nose and shook hands with the man known in his community simply as Mr. Brownie. So why do they call you Mr. Brownie?
Well, some of the neighborhood kids saw me cooking up some dog shit on my grill one day, and they yelled it out, and it just stuck since then.
How did they know it was dog shit and not your own?
They were probably watching me through the fence as I caught it from my dog's ass when he was shitting. It's best to get it while it's fresh. It preserves the enzymes.
What made you start eating dog poo?
Well, I read that all the healthy nutrients they put in dog food result in poop that's very rich in substances like nitrogen and phosphorus. And nitrogen is an important part of our bodies. Amino acids all contain nitrogen, and the main function of phosphorus is in the formation of bones and teeth. And those are the same ingredients you'll find in fertilizer. So if it's good enough for bones, teeth, and fertilizer, it's good enough for me.
I see. Couldn't you just take a vitamin supplement instead?
I ain't no damn pansy. I'm not taking no supplement. I want all natural shit.
So then I asked Mr. Brownie how he prepared the poo.
Well, I have my own blend of herbs and spices. I just mush it all up together here like a meatloaf.
As I watched him kneading the poo with his hands, the repulsiveness of it all and the smell hit me like a blindsided fastball, and I proceeded to empty the contents of my stomach. After getting sick, Mr. Brownie was nice enough to lay me down for a while. When I awoke, strangely enough, his house didn't smell like shit anymore. I can only assume when I was asleep, my nostrils took the opportunity to quit working on me. Trust me, I thanked them later with a little snow party. As we were concluding the interview, Mr. Brownie asked if I would like to try a sample of his latest creation. My stomach bubbled a little, and I thought very strongly against it. But, seeing as my sense of smell had ceased to exist, and I can only go off of what I saw, I must admit the shit on a stick with sprinkles on top looked quite delicious. So in the spirit of good reporting, I decided to try a bite. And boy, was I pleasantly surprised. Not bad. Kind of reminds me of the time I was really messed up on drugs when I was younger, and I was so into the sex I licked my girlfriend's asshole, and I hit a bump along the way, but I didn't ask. And this is taking me back there. Good times.
I told you you'd like it. I do mail order too, so you just let me know and I'll ship the shit out to you.
Deal. Well, Dick and Jennifer, I must admit I'm a believer. And if you guys haven't found it yet, I left you a gift box there in the studio.
That's what I've been smelling? I thought Dick farted.
Hey, I thought you farted, bitch. Well, I guess we were both wrong. Great job, Harry. Thanks for that in-depth reporting.
Anytime, guys. Bon appetit.
Well, now let's see what's going on in the world of sports. We head over to our man in the sports dicks, Lester Gayford.
Thanks, Dick. Well, everyone knows the world of sports is wild and wacky, and proving that is the NFL veteran coach, Jim Caldwell, who won't return to the Miami Dolphins staff in 2020. Caldwell, who was hired by Brian Flores in February as assistant head coach and quarterbacks coach, never coached a game for the Dolphins. He took an indefinite leave in July due to an undisclosed health issue and did not return to his on-field role. Yet, Caldwell is ready to resume coaching again, and when asked why he left Miami after being hired but never coaching for them, he replied, "It's way too hot and muggy and sticky in Florida. Ew, who wants to be all sweaty and sticky all the time? Unless we're talking about a man sandwich." Moving to MLB news. Nolan Orlando apparently will be on the Colorado Rockies roster come spring training, but that doesn't mean the all-star third baseman is happy with the organization. Arenado voiced his displeasure with the Rockies. Quote, "There's a lot of disrespect from people there that I don't want to be a part of, and you can quote that, bitch," he told MLB.com. Arenado is just 1 year into an 8-year, $260 million contract he signed with the Rockies last year. Eat your heart out, peasants. This is what our wonderful monetary system does. Some asshole gets paid $260 million to hit a ball, while doctors, nurses, scientists, and technicians, the ones who make our lives better and healthier, get paid squat compared to that. They're the real heroes. And I play with balls all day, and I don't even break 100. Don't get me started. And finally, in NBA news, Dwight Howard will be a part of the 2020 Slam Dunk Contest on All-Star Weekend. Howard hasn't competed in the contest since 2009. He won it the previous year while with the Magic. While he impersonated Superman, flew through the air, and slammed his ball into the hole. I know that feeling. I get balls slammed in my hole all the time from Superman. And trust me, I should get an award too. Well, that's it for sports. And remember, keep playing with your sticks and balls. It'll come easier the more you do it.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. We hope you'll join us next week when we'll have lots more distraction, separation, and fear-mongering for you. We'll even use some different words. I'm Dick Rammer.
And I'm Jennifer Phibb.
Good night, everyone.